Okay, just wanted to cover in a quick tutorial here a couple of questions here. We have a lot of customers that come to us after having tried and failed, after a lot of frustration to get ODBC and Bartender to work with pulling data out of QuickBooks, and we think it's a huge undertaking and it's something to be avoided, and I think we're going to show you why this method using AccuWare as a label connector for QuickBooks sort of avoids a lot of days and days of frustration trying to write queries and integrate to QuickBooks using ODBC. Let's just look at an invoice here, for example. In Label Connector, what we've already got built for you is the ability to pull these the data out of these line items into a label. Now, the way a typical ERP or accounting software package is structured is the line items data is often in a different table than the header data, which is shown up here, where the PO would be, invoice number, things like the ship to address, and so forth. So you have to kind of understand where QuickBooks would be storing this data if you're going to attempt ODBC, what the table names are, and then you'd have to make the proper types of merges between multiple tables to get data out of both the header, if you need some of this data and some of this line item data onto the label. There's also the added variable of, like in this case, we'll use this pool cover aqua as an example here. In many cases, this data will come in from the item. You can set up a field where the customer part number is intentionally left blank, so you can fill that into the sales order. You have to understand that some data, if it's entered onto the sales order, is going to be sourced from different places than data that gets pulled in from the items definition if this is a custom field in the item. I'll show you what I mean by that. Let's take this same item here, this aqua pool cover, and let's go and look this up in the items list here. Okay, so over down here, look at the pool covers. Okay, there's that same item. I've got it highlighted still here. So what we can do with Label Connector for QuickBooks is we can pull in things like the item and the description and things like that, the unit of measure onto your label. But the other thing that we have pre-built for you is if you have custom fields, and some people aren't making use of these yet, but this is a great way to get some extra data into your items that you may need onto your labels. We can pull any of this custom data in based on the name that you create in the custom field. And you can see here, customer part number, we intentionally left that blank, and that's because in this example, maybe you have something you need on your sales order or invoice that you need it to show up as a field, but you don't want it to be defined in the item because maybe the customer's part number for something might vary from customer to customer for you, so you may need that to be filled in the sales order or the invoice. So here you could elect to create a custom field inside your item definition and leave that blank, so when you pull that into the invoice it will come in blank and can be filled in there. So what we're doing in Label Connector for QuickBooks is we can pull in this type of item data, and we can pull in any of the defined item custom fields that you might create. In some cases there's specs that are true for the item no matter what customer you might sell it to, let's say like the size or the compound or things like that. So you can pull those things in from the item and have that actually inherited into the sales order, or you can leave them blank in this custom field item definition and pull it into the sales order or invoice as a blank field and fill it in there. So again, we'll go back into the sales order here, I'm sorry, the invoice, and you can see where when that was pulled into the sales order, it arrives blank, so you can always enter the data in here, and we can still fetch that data that's entered onto the screen in the sales order and pull that into the label design. So it gets to where you need to be able to know how to look into 4 or 5 different underlying database tables in QuickBooks and merge those tables in the right way by joining those things in queries and doing enough sort of programming with queries to merge the data in the right way to get all of these different places and all of this data to end up on your label, which we've sort of done that work for you in Label Connector for QuickBooks. So just thought I'd give you a quick treatment of that because we do get that question quite a bit from customers. Thank you.